Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick. This is a daily ramble. Yes, a daily ramble where I ramble a lot. It's called a daily ramble. I keep on getting people in the comments saying, you don't half ramble a lot. Well, the clue's in the title. So if you don't like rambling, turn off now. I'm going to be talking about some, not so good news. Well, look, if you can call it, it's not news. Okay, this isn't news. This is the latest developments that I'm getting from the mad world of David Sullivan. All right. Before we go there, please jump on board, subscribe if you haven't already. Click that bell notification icon, and if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, please, because that really helps us. Tells YouTube to share it around. Right, okay. Depressing, to be quite honest. You'll remember back when David Moyes was going, even through that kind of good spell that he had, I reported that he was going to be leaving. You know, stuck to me guns the whole way through. I think it was sort of October before Christmas when he was still winning games and stuff like that. I said, no, he's going to be gone at the end of the season. Said we wouldn't be spending too much money in January and all that because we're stockpiling cash for the summer. So I've not spoken to this chap since, but I have spoken to him today, and I was hoping that the conversation was going to be Lopetegui's going. He didn't say that. He didn't. The information I got is quite depressing. And what you have to bear in mind is the mad world of David Sullivan changes on a day-to-day basis, so he could be sacked tomorrow. He could. But where we are at the minute is that the board are at loggerheads. They're at each other's throats. I don't know which members, but nobody's agreeing about anything. and what I'm hearing is that David Sullivan wants to stick with Lopetegui until the summer. At the earliest, he doesn't want to get rid of him until the summer. He wants to give him that time, doesn't want to accept, his little ego won't accept that he's made a mistake, and he's backing that up by blaming Tim. He's backing it up by blaming Tim, as I said was going to happen. I said that Tim was going to be thrown under the bus. Our apparent director of football, who's not a director of football, because at the same people that are peddling these stories about Tim being a failure, to prove that he's been a failure, they're coming out and saying, well, look, Sullivan's signed Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he signed Somerville, apparently West Fodringham. So Sullivan's got three. Apparently Guido, Soler and Kilman were Lopetegui's. And the other three, Tadibo, Fulkrug and Guilherme, were Tim's. So Tim's been a complete failure because he ain't built a team to... Well, he ain't built a team, has he? And he ain't been a director. He ain't a director of football. You just admitted that you've not been letting him do his job. That's what you've done. You've admitted that it's a three-way split. You have one, I have one. What other club operates like that? Absolute madness. It's as we suspected. It was one for Loppy, one for Tim, one for Sullivan. That's how we've built the squad in the summer. That's how we've done it. And no surprise, some players are suiting this manager, some players are not. It's got nothing to do with the quality levels. It just hasn't. None of these players have been signed with a vision. They just haven't. So Tim is useless in this capacity, but it ain't his fault. It's Sullivan's fault. Now, when you go back and you look at what's happened here, I mean, if you sort of try and go through the timeline of madness. So, first of all, Tim gets recruited. He gets recruited. Was it just after we won the Conference League? Because we were selling Declan Rice and we wanted to, I suppose, maybe it was a board vote. We wanted somebody in to help make sure that we reinvested the money correctly. So Tim comes in. Supposed to be coming in as a director of football, but apparently at the time Moyes wouldn't have it, so he got his title downgraded to technical director. And he was promised that as time went on, the next contract, once Moyes' contract was up, he was going to be the director of football, and Moyes was going to be reporting to him. Obviously, Moyes got pissed off. And he got even more annoyed when he got his contract offer, because his contract offer stipulated that he would be reporting to a director of football who would be signing the players, and he would not be having any say on player recruitment. So he was never going to sign the contract that they offered him anyway, as we reported, as everyone reported, I think, that was never going to happen. He did get a contract, but it was a contract that David Moyes was never going to sign, which he didn't, and then it got retracted because he fell to pieces anyway. But they just wanted to do... I think that's just David Sullivan playing the media game. He hasn't got the bottle to actually make a decision, because obviously he didn't want Moyes, but Moyes stayed. So there's a game going on. He knows that Moyes is a media darling, and he's a coward, Sullivan. So he just played a game even with Moyes. So basically employs a director of football, right? waits until the end of the season, lets loads of players get annoyed. So Tim's getting annoyed, Moyes is annoyed. It's all horrible. It's all toxic in the camp. And then finally, Moyes moves on. Okay, so you're going to be the director of football now, Tim. Is a new manager going to be reporting to you and you're going to be getting all the players? Oh, no. No, that ain't going to happen. No, you can have 3 players. I'll have 3 players. I'm going to go out and recruit the manager and he can have 3 players and all. That's how we're going to do it. And then what happens is it all falls to pieces. It all falls to pieces. And Sullivan needs a sacrificial lamb because he's made yet another catastrophic, calamitous decision in the long line of calamitous decisions that he's made at this club. And he won't accept it himself. So now we're embarking on this mission to basically make Tim the fall guy, make him the sacrificial lamb. All Tim has been to David Sullivan, he's a highly paid heat shield. And now he's done with him, he's discarded him, he's thrown him under the bus. That's all it is. You know? So I do believe that Tim is going to walk before Sullivan. The only way that this won't happen is because of the way that the board is split now. So everything has to go down to a vote. I think when you fire or you employ someone or you procure a player over a certain amount of money or something like that, it has to go to a board vote. Now, that means there's got to be a majority. If you get over 50% of the votes, then whatever you put to the table, it will get signed off, job done. But they're not agreeing on anything at the moment. So let's just say that Sullivan wants to get rid of Tim. The board are going, no. I'm just saying, if that's happening, the board are going, no. It'll go, all right then, fair enough. And then they're saying, we want you to sack the manager. They can even vote against him and outnumber him on that. So it can be whatever it is versus his 38%. I'm a bit tired. Can't do the maths. But he has right of veto. So it's pretty much, you do what I want or we're doing nothing. Because we're definitely not going to do what you want because I can stop it from happening. So it's all a big nonsense. It's all a big nonsense. We're either going to have this loggerheads game where we're stuck with Lopetegui and stuck with Tim and stuck with Sullivan playing games and cutting his nose off and the noses of his board members off by depreciating their asset and depreciating all the players there until Sullivan gets his own way. Or, I don't know, everyone just falls in line. You know, Tim walks, they all sign it off. I don't know what will happen. You know, Sullivan will probably go big in January to try and recover this situation with Lopetegui. If he stays that long, I can imagine Sullivan going big on signings in January just to try and recover this situation because he refuses to lose face. I can imagine him trying to do that, you know, going and trying to get in Duran for fucking 80 million or something like that because, yeah, it's just the type of guy that he is. When all that we needed to do was do things in the right way in the summer, let Tim drive, get the manager in that he wanted, which was hammer him. Everything would have been hunky-dory, wouldn't it? But no, we're playing these games. It's never going to fucking change at this club. It really ain't. It's a mess. So no, it's miserable, horrible, frustrating news that, as I said at the start of this video, could change tomorrow. It could change tomorrow. Sullivan, this guy did say that as well. He did say, bear in mind, this Sullivan's more bipolar than ever was a term that he used. Football bipolar. He's changing his mind from one day to the next. So he could change his mind tomorrow. He could sack him. He could do what? He could do anything. He could do anything. But at the moment, he wants Tim out. If you read some of the reports out there, this guy didn't tell me this, but he wants control back of transfers, apparently. Apparently he wants control back of transfers. That's why he wants Tim out. And he doesn't want to accept defeat with Lopetegui because getting rid of Lopetegui means that he's made a mistake and it's going to make him look foolish. I think he wants to try and make it work with him. Whether that's going to change or not, I don't know. The only thing that could change that is if one of the managers that we know that he is set to be meeting in, this week and next, because that is happening, everyone. He is meeting with managers, as he always does at times like this, because, look, it is due diligence. They can't come out and say they are or anything like that, but... And then what will happen is that the same line will get trotted out. There's nobody better available. We tried this type of thing. We've had a look. But he is meeting with available managers at the moment. And there's a lot of managers that are interested in that job. But while Sullivan's standing in the way, there's not really too much that we can do because I'm starting to feel now, considering how I was talking over the weekend, I'm starting to feel like he's not going to do anything now. I don't think he is. Certainly after that conversation that I had. So, yeah, great. Just going to have to sit there and wince as we get battered by Newcastle, battered by Arsenal. I don't know who else follows after that. I think the fixtures get a bit easier, so we might pick up some points or not. You know, I'm sure. I think we're playing Leicester, aren't we? So, and Southampton are in there as well, so we might pick up some points before Christmas. I don't know. I ain't got a clue. Or it could all turn round. You know, it could. Lopetegui could have an epiphany in the next week or so, and we could go and beat Newcastle and then do Arsenal, who ain't having the best of seasons. It's never going to happen, but it could. We're going to get a hiding in them games. We know we are. But yeah, look, that's the news. That's the crap news. Unfortunately, not good news today. If it changes or if I hear it does, I'll let you know. Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't call anything breaking news in this situation at the moment because it's all subject to change. Especially anything to do with Sullivan. Anything to do with Sullivan can change on a day-to-day basis. You know, we know that there are managers linked. We know that he's going to be talking to managers. We know that the board is frustrated. But it's all toxic. It's all poison. We can see the players are pissed off. They're angry. The fans are annoyed. This is only going one way, isn't it? It's we're doomed. We're doomed. Anyway, that's enough from me, from Cheery Nick. I'm starting to not even give a shit at this point. I don't really care now. Just do what you want, Sullivan. Do what you want, mate. You're going to anyway. Speak to you later. Come on, your wines.